Hi and welcome. Right, today we're going to do a very special recipe. It was created by Kelly Bramill. The link to her website is below in the more. Anyway, right, cut to the point. You get 5 pounds of chicken thighs. You're going to bone them. I'm not going to show you how to bone a chicken thigh because I'm sure you're not a complete and utter moron. Right, okay, so the next thing is we get a big pan, like this, right? And what we do is we put in 1 cup of salt, table salt, right? And about a litre of water, right? We put that. Well, actually, to start off with, you only put 200 ml of water with the salt. You put that on the heater, then you heat that up until the salt is dissolved, then you add in your water, and then you add in loads of ice, so it chills it right down. But you want to dissolve that salt in, because the most important thing you can do is brine the chicken. Right? What that does, it changes the molecular structure and makes it super moist. Right? This is especially important with breast, but we are actually using thigh. So, right, it's in here at the moment, as you can see, right? Lovely. Look, look. And you can hear the ice. Right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be leaving that in there for about half an hour to 3/4 of an hour. They're bones, so there's plenty of surface area for the salt to get in, change its molecular structure. It doesn't make them salty, but it is so important for you to actually rinse them after you've done this. And then, before we put all the herbs and spices on, we're going to dry them. Anyway, I'll be showing you that a bit later. Recipe, we're going to be using the zest of a lemon. Right, now, just for you morons who've got no idea how to zest a lemon, right, what you do is you get your grater and you go around like this, and what the idea is not to get too much of the white of the lemon, because that is actually quite bitter. It actually has quite a lot of flavour, the white, but I would just stick with the surface of the skin. Right, and that will give you a lovely, lovely flavour. The oils from the skin will go into your dish and give it a wonderful aroma. So, that's it, basically. And then we're going to squeeze the lemons, put it all in here, right, and Bob's your uncle. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to juice the lemons. Now, to make sure it's easy to cut out, if you roll the lemons a couple of times, right, we're using 2 lemons here, right, you get your knife, cut them, right, and then I get a spoon, just a plain spoon, and I push it in there, and I just rotate it, and what is really good about this is you have to pick the pips out afterwards, because I forgot to put a sieve over, because I usually do put a sieve over, but I was basically not paying any attention. But it doesn't actually look like these have got any bloody pips in them. So, bloody wonderful. So, nice and easy lemons. Getting all the juice out. Yeah. Builds up your muscle, sisters. Right, wash your hands. Dry your hands. On your t-shirt, which is beautifully clean, and that's that bit. Right, okay, now we're coming to quite an important bit. Right, a lot of people won't actually bother, but I do. Right, now, we've got 2 teaspoons of cumin, right, and the recipe calls for ground cumin. Now, to get the most flavour out of cumin, you get a nice hot pan like this. You tip in your ground cumin, right, and it's a bloody hot pan, and it's dry, right, so what we're doing is we are toasting these, and what that's doing is it's releasing and toasting these, so we get a super flavour, and as you can hear, they're popping away, and when they start popping, don't stop, just put them straight into something, otherwise they will burn to buggery. Right, so we've got our nice cumin here, and as you can see, it's got all the aromas coming off it. I mean, how lovely is that? Right, so we go over to our spice grinder. You can use a coffee grinder if you've got one, or you can just decide not to do this at all. Right, so in they go. Swirl your finger around a bit to get the extra bits out. Give it a good bloody knock. Got some other bits in here. Make sure they're out. Put this on. Grind! 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 Oh, my camera's gone upside down, the stupid camera. That's Sony. Clever. Yeah, they figure you got the camera upside down and you don't want it upside down. Well, maybe they're wrong. Anyway, so, here we go. Beautifully ground. Oh, smell that! Oh, the smell of that! Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, all that oil. And you might see a little bit of white in there. That's just because I've just ground some sea salt finely, so it's a bit better. Anyway, so that's the ground cumin. Okay, right, now, next thing is allspice. Now, they're lovely berries, and what we're going to do is we're going to chuck those into the pan as well, and we're going to get them a little bit toasty, so they start to release some of their oils as well. Now, with these, we also will do exactly the same as the cumin, and we will grind them up, and that's it. I'm not going to go through all of it, because you've seen it with the cumin. Right, and by this stage, you know that everything I show you that's in whole seeds, right, you roast them in the pan, dry roast, to get the oils and the flavours really up. Okay, so in here, we have got 1/2 teaspoons of black peppercorns and 1/2 teaspoons of... Sorry, I'll start again. I'm not very good at this, am I? Right, okay. Right, we've got 1/2 teaspoons of black peppercorns and 1/2 teaspoon of white peppercorns. Right, and we're going to roast those, grind them, boom, boom. And we're going to have 2 teaspoons of rock salt, which I'm going to grind as well. Now, we're getting to the fresh ingredients. Now, we've got some lovely thyme here. So we're using about 1 tablespoon, but it doesn't matter too much. And we're putting that into our little mixing thingamajig. And we're going to be using 8 tablespoons of olive oil, and measure it out very carefully because you need to get it, you know, quite correct. And the reason I'm mixing it in with this is because herbs have oils in them, and the oils go into the oil much more readily than if you just cut them up and sprinkle them in between the meat. So I'm going to zizz this up now, and I usually put my hand around here because sometimes the oil goes everywhere. Right, okay, so there we go. Lovely! Lovely, 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 lovely. So, that's all done. While we're doing this, always check your knives are sharp, because it ain't bloody well worth using it if it's not, and it's more dangerous. So what you do is before you use it, you just grab your arm, give it a thing, and if it's taken your hair off, you know that knife is okay. But do remember to wash it before you use it. Okay, so I'm just going to run you through the ingredients. Right, we've got salt, black pepper, white pepper, cumin seeds, right, allspice berries, all toasted, all ground into here. Next thing is thyme with olive oil, nicely blending, tomato ketchup. Well, not ketchup, it's concentrate, you know, paste or what do you call things. 2 lemons, unwaxed. Here we've got 2 types of garlic powder. One is just plain garlic powder, the other one is roasted garlic. You could just use one. Here we have our onion powder, which is, there you go, and I use a teaspoon of Kashmiri chili. Okay, now we've come to the really exciting part. We're going to be putting all this together. So we're going to be putting the salt, black peppercorns, white peppercorns, cumin seeds and allspice into this lovely bowl. And make sure it's all out. Mind you, it's not that important. Then the oil. Whee! Make sure that's all out, and then we're going to be using the tomato paste. Now we're going to need 4 tablespoons of this, carefully measured, right, so they're completely level. So 1, 2, 3, come on, hey, 3, and 4. Okay, now you might think, right, that I've put a lot of that in. However, I promise you, you will not really taste the tomato in that whatsoever. And also, if you're like me and you don't use a whole tube, always write the date you opened it on when you put it in the fridge. Therefore, when you come back to it, you know how old it is. Right, okay, lemon zest and lemon juice, all in there, lovely. Right, garlic, yay, lovely, look at that, isn't that? Oh, I love that. Right, onion powder, yay, and onion powder can get quite sticky, so make sure you get it all out. Right, Kashmiri chili, yay, all in there. Okay, and then you give it a good mix. I'm not going to show you that because I'm sure you know what mixing looks like. Right, now the chicken has been brining in this iced water for about an hour now. I'm going to empty it into this bowl, and bearing in mind the fastest way salmonella spreads around the kitchen is with water contaminated by chicken juices. So if you've got chicken juice and water, right, you'll get splashes. That is spreading salmonella. So make sure you wash the whole area down once you've done this. Right, so I've emptied them into here, putting them into there, using my clean hand to switch my filtered water tap on, and I'm filling that up because what I'm doing is I'm rinsing those chickens to get all the salt off them. Right, so while that's filling up, I'll set the camera up for the next shot. Okay, right, now, in this bowl over here, I've got my chicken, which has been rinsed of the salt water that it was brining in. And now I'm putting that on the top here, and I am grabbing each piece of chicken and I'm drying it, right, because I don't want too much liquid in my whole dish. Right, so nice chicken piece, put it in there. Right, now I'm going to switch the water on and wash my hands because I'm going to switch the camera off now. Clean your surfaces well, because don't forget we have had raw chicken on here and it's got to be clean anywhere where it could have splashed. Because raw chicken is hell on earth if you get salmonella. Okay, now we put the chicken in the sauce and we're going to mix it all together. Now, I would normally use my hands, but I haven't got any gloves left up here. I always use gloves because otherwise I get all stained hands and it's bloody horrible. Anyway, so we're going to be putting this in the fridge, covered, and it's about 12 o'clock midday today, and we're going to leave this, and just before I go to bed I'll give it another stir, make sure all that is getting into the chicken. Right, so over with the cling film, and Then we want to cut the cling film. Yay! Right, so cutting the cling film. Right, so that's cut. Also, it shows the importance of a sharp knife, because otherwise it's a pain in the arse to cut cling film. So, over we take it, we open our fridge, and we find we've got no bloody space. Because in here, we've got our bread puree going ready. So anyway, I'll make some space, I'll put it in there. I won't show you that because it will bore you. Okay, right, I'll see you all tomorrow. Now, I'm just going to talk about the rotisserie for a few seconds, just to give you some tips, which I think you'll find invaluable. Now, to start with, we've got our rotisserie, right, and it's looking absolutely lovely. Rotating, if I can get the camera on it. Right, rotating away, right. Oh, I don't need it to track the nearest subject near this bloody screen. You can be a right pain. Anyway, so we have got this rotating. Now, when you're actually putting on your meat, right, you usually find it's too far up one end or too far up the other, right? So the best thing to do is put it in without any meat or anything on it, and your center beam, you mark where the middle is with a felt tip pen, right? Now, once you've marked it, you take it down to your gouge and you make a mark in it with a file, a hacksaw, or anything that makes the marks of metal, then you clean it. Now, the other thing, which you all probably have done, and I defy anybody to say they haven't done it, right? It's a right pain in the butt. You come along and you want to test the temperature of your meat. So, you switch this off, right? Test the temperature. It's okay, a bit more. So you put the lid back on, right? And then you come back to test it again and go, oh, bugger, I forgot to switch the rotisserie back on. So what I did was, in this one, I put a three-way switch, and inside I put an audible buzzer. So, it stopped rotating, right? But I've got this annoying me, and then when I switch the rotation back on, it switches the buzzer off. Bloody brilliant.